When the man get serious, people take a life, say when the man get serious. Say what test.
Again.
You
other brothers can't deny.
When a girl walks in
with an itty bitty waist and around there in your face, you get sprung.
You better make up, son. This might be the one.
I can't remember the rest of those.
I thought it's. How did I start it again?
I like to do it.
I don't know.
Big butts and I cannot lie. You other brothers tell a lie.
Yeah,
that's what I thought it was.
I'm not sure. Maybe that's another verse. I
oh,
don't know.
you're sabotaging it.
I can't say I know
think that's
every
what it
single
is.
lyric to every
Sabotaging
song.
it.
Welcome to Say It With Your Chest. We're going to talk about Blue Story today and its impact on the community at large.
Why'd you have to start like
You do well, and then you just come with.
We're going to talk about Blue Story and how it's affecting the community.
Listen, there's no animals.
The impact on the community.
It's not David Attenborough.
Well,
Watch. Look how it affects the community.
Talk about Blue Story and how the hoodlums.
I mean, it would be amazing to have David Attenborough actually report on this.
It would be.
The gangs of Peckham, the Dab,
Pecknor.
gangs of the ghetto.
They're a
Peck
mysterious
of
species that we've discovered.
Have you seen? You haven't seen Blue Story yet.
Earth. No.
And you watched it. I
Yes.
still haven't seen it, but I've seen the YouTube videos.
I
So
haven't
we
seen
can't talk about
anything.
to be honest, we're not
What
even
I
gonna
have
talk-
seen
For those that haven't seen it,
It's
we're
all
not-
the drama.
For those, we're not going to be talking about actual Blue Story.
No.
We're going to talk about what's been going on.
The impact.
Yeah.
Do you think it should have been taken out of the cinema?
No.
Hoodlum?
I think it's great for Blue Story that it was. I think it's publicity. However, it shouldn't have been taken out, no.
Yeah,
Films have been much more
No, that's
violent
true.
that have been allowed to go through and...
No, but have those films caused... I don't know, but have those films caused... Why are you kicking the table?
Why are you kicking the table?
Get angry, blood. Blue Story,
You
man.
did.
I want Blue Story.
You literally watched it yesterday and now you're
Blue
violent.
Story last night. It's on. It's on.
Maybe there's some subliminal messages
You've never ever done that before.
But I just like, I think I want to stretch my leg. Obviously, I've been gymming that. Yeah. That was actually why, to be fair. Makes sense now.
Okay.
Well,
actually, anyway,
I ain't gonna
I
lie.
don't remember what I was saying.
How
You
to
might
carry
get
on.
me angry every time you see the word Blue
you're
Story.
talking about
Why?
impact and Blue
Gets-
Story,
the film
bro.
gets man angry, innit?
Remember what you were saying.
Oh yeah, so have
Okay.
other films that are more violent, have they ever caused, like... Not caused, to be honest, I don't even think Blue Story is the cause of any of this.
Bro, when you have
It's-
kids in one place, especially like young kids that are already probably going to cause trouble, they just want to go and watch this movie.
And
All
then if
together in one
someone
place,
has a little...
they're going to have a little fight. They're already carrying the knives around. It's not like they went,
They
oh look,
magically appeared in
oh my
Blue
god,
Story.
Blue Story's on. I'm going to go out and stab my friends. No, that's not what they're doing. These kids already have these
I'm
knives.
kicking people like
I like that
that.
explanation.
These kids already have these knives on them. They're already looking out for trouble. They've seen bare people are going to watch this Blue Story. This is prime opportunity for us to stab people.
Yeah. The latest is they say,
And 'cause they know-
I'm going to Chef Man, is what they say.
Chef?
Going to?
Chef Man.
Like a
I
chef.
like that.
Kebab.
Wow.
Ah.
Chef Man.
I like that. It's rude, but I like it.
That's what they're dropping, bro.
Chef man.
Chef man like a kebab.
What?
Is that what they say?
That's racist, by the way.
Yeah, that is what they say. You don't you listen to drill?
No, I haven't listened to any new drill.
He's chilling in his shirt, yeah. And he's like, I haven't listened to any new drill.
I'm not. I'm overdressed. I'm overdressed for this podcast.
I heard you're the drilly master.
I pay people to drill for me.
They do call me that. They do call me that indeed. Back in my day,
You and the
we
ops.
used to, me and the ops.
Oh,
Before
no.
they were ops, we used to spit bars.
And bop.
Bippity bop
Wow.
and lean and bop.
Is it?
Hey,
Them man are pagans.
them
So-
boy big.
So how do you feel about? I'm
like,
zoning out. I'm zoning out because you know what? I don't know about this drill and bop and all this rubbish. Like,
Lean and bop, lean and bop,
Oh, I apologise.
lean.
right. So back to the actual story at hand.
Yeah,
So
true.
what do you guys think about this taken out of the cinema.
I don't think it should
all
have been
the
taken out.
drama.
It shouldn't have been taken out of the cinema.
Right.
And I think that it was probably taken out of the cinema purely because it's got that small element of gang culture. Well, not even small. It is based around gang culture, but it's not like what's the word? It's not promoting it. It's just telling the background story to it. But because it's got that small influence, that small background to it, they're just gonna try and get rid of it. Because it's like with drill on YouTube.
Yeah.
How they're like, oh, we want to get rid of all this YouTube, want to ban it all and all that.
Yeah.
Even stuff that isn't, I guess, even if they did start doing that, even if there's some tracks that are not promoting gang violence or anything like that, and it's just talking about the stuff that's going on, they would still probably
people get
ban that.
hyped.
They get hyped, but you can get hyped off anything.
Yeah.
You can get hyped watching Avengers. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but I think it's not really to do with the hype. It's to do with the fact that film draws that crowd of people. And that crowd of
because
people
it's about them.
Because it's
tend to find themselves in those situations on a regular basis.
Yeah.
From a cinema's point of view, you got to think of it like that's a risk. You're thinking to yourself, I'm showing this film, and when they showed that film, at the same time, apparently, as far as the sun says, Frozen 2 was there as well, and there was loads of kids and families. They're looking at it and they're thinking, well, Frozen 2 is making us millions.
Yeah.
Like multiple millions.
Yeah.
And Blue Story is making us like 2-3 mil.
Yeah.
So they're thinking, all these parents that are coming and seeing all this violence, they're gonna stop coming to the cinema.
If this is on.
So that's why, from a business point of view, if it was my business, to be honest, as much as I love the film and as much as I want that film to do well, I would have cut it to 100%.
I get where you got,
I would have 100% cut it. Because I would have been like, it's an unnecessary risk for me to take.
Let these kids hang around somewhere else. We don't want our cinema where all these families are coming.
But that's the sad thing though, the amount of effort and time that Rapman put into it. Like, and I was saying to you guys before how Blue Story on YouTube came out 2 years ago, and now 2-3 years later he's made it into a big movie. Like as in, if you you've seen Blue Story the movie and you haven't seen the YouTube ones, you should go and watch it.
But I'm sorry,
watch all 3 parts.
To an extent, I still disagree that they should have been taken out of the cinemas. However, I get financially why it would make sense for the business. But surely Rapman knew this would happen, or he could have.
That's exactly what I was just thinking in my head.
He's creating a film based on a true story about postcode wars, right? That's what we were discussing earlier. It's based on a true story about postcode wars. What did he think kids? How did he think kids were gonna just be like, oh, what an amazing entertaining
And there's several scenes in the film.
I'm not gonna be violent anymore. Like the kids, they're already out for it. They're gonna do it.
Yeah, to be honest, even watching the YouTube ones, it hypes you up.
Do you know what I mean? So it's a tricky one.
Hey, you're not a grown man, and you're not a chef man.
Yeah, chef man.
I think they could have taken it out maybe of just that particular cinema and then left it in another. But I think obviously, like I said, they're thinking from a business point of view. They're like, our thing is a massive brand. Like us just putting Blue Story on and loads of people stopping to come.
That's the thing. Like the number of people that are gonna come to watch Blue Story
versus any other film really
little compared to the number of people that are gonna come to watch Frozen.
So,
any of these Avengers, any of this Spider-Man, as in like, even though it might be the same people sometimes, but
yeah.
But I don't know. I just think that it was
talking about chefing.
Unnecessary.
Talking about chefing, man. What about that terror attack on London Bridge? How do you guys feel about that? Because one of the guys who was a hero, named a hero, came out from a fish. Was it like a fish shop or fish and chip shop or something? Fish market or something with a giant whale tusk. Threatening to...
It was a university exhibition, bro. You know when you come like the Sun newspaper, like,
I just read this come from like a fish shop.
I'm thinking, what fish and chips?
Man got a whale tusk. I don't know. I didn't even know whales had tusks. We learn something new every day.
Whale tusk.
Unreal. It's a serious topic.
Yeah. It was actually a university exhibition.
There was. Because
he was actually attending it as well.
He was attending the university
exhibition.
exhibition.
It started off like him trying to check people up during the basically exhibition going on.
What was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, because they were sitting around. I've seen the pictures.
Apparently he came there with them. Like he was part of the uni kind of.
And then he just started doing it.
Yeah, I think as
he
well.
Was obviously
they said,
planning.
He kind of like taped the knives to his hands as well. So they weren't just like in his hands.
They were taped.
They were like, you know, so like
So
basically.
no one could take them off him.
Yeah, so
he couldn't
basically
drop
he
it.
Yeah, he couldn't drop
If
it.
he falls to the floor, he
Wow.
can still hit someone.
Yeah, I don't know if that's exaggerated, but that's what I read.
So yeah, so this
If
guy,
only- if
so this
only he
guy
fell
was in
over
this
and just, like,
exhibition.
stabbed himself, you never know.
He stabbed 5 people. I think he stabbed
That
5
would've been
people.
Okay.
that would have been better.
That would have been
What
lovely.
are you talking about?
for him.
I said,
You wanted him to-
if it would have been better if he just fell over and it just
Like accidentally fell over and then just
That
basically
would've
stabbed
been better,
himself. Like,
Could have happened.
I
It
think
would've
that's
been
why he
better.
was struggling on the floor.
Of
with
course, it
him
would
so
have been
much.
better. Because 2 people actually died. Like on a serious level, condolences to their families. 2 people died. 5 people got stabbed altogether. I think it was. So they were injured at first, and they reported 2 of them died later.
And then those 2 are 2 university they went to Cambridge.
Wow.
I think both of them went to Cambridge. So
Young-
I don't know what
young-
this university
young people.
exhibition was. Which was it in?
I don't know what university it was. I don't know about.
But I know them
Cambridge
2.
and that, but I know it
I
was
read that them
university
2 were from
expedition.
Cambridge. One guy, one girl.
And then 2 of the guys, one of them I know 100%. He was in the room because I saw his picture. He's the one I think with the fire extinguisher.
Yeah.
So he came out and he found a fire extinguisher and he was like,
Why did
Showering
he,
the guy.
Why did he shower? Why didn't he just hit him with the fire extinguisher?
well, I don't think he wanted to get close. The guy had a machete in his like a knife in his hand.
2.
Yeah.
Like it's not really
Edward
something that you want to
Scissorhands,
get
like-
close with, like, and start fighting
Chefing
with a fire.
man.
Of all things, a fire extinguisher as
Do
well.
you know how heavy
Yeah.
they are?
Yeah, but
Yeah,
compared
yeah,
to 2
but
knives,
if you
yeah,
swing
I
it and
know
miss,
which weapons I
your
would
arm's
use.
gone, bro.
Yeah, that's true.
Also, the other
we
guy
do
had
that
a
anymore.
really long whale tusk.
Stop laughing, man.
It is funny because the guy had a whale tusk, the most random item in the world ever, and he's like going like this to the guy.
So
and
did he hit
threatening
him with it?
I'm not sure if he stabbed him or whatever, but they got the guy. The next video I saw is the guy's on the floor. The guy with the fire extinguisher, I think is him. He's just like latched onto this guy and he's not letting go. And the police are there, with the armed police are now here, and they're trying to get him off because the guy's got a vest on.
What I found mad as well, yeah, was like how quickly they responded to it. Like,
It's London Bridge, bro.
I
It's
guess-
already
I
happened
get that.
there.
Yeah, I get that's London Bridge.
Nah,
but
there's
like,
armed police all around there all the time. You go there now, there's armed police.
There's armed police all
Oh,
over.
yeah.
All over the
Yeah,
place.
yeah, central London.
All
yeah,
over
to be
central.
fair, yeah,
All
there
over
is there,
central.
to be fair.
But
He-
then again, how long
this
has it
guy
been-
done-
I guess, and actually, yeah, I guess London Bridge of all places would definitely have.
Mate, it happened
on
there
guard,
already.
Yeah, because they're always
2
in the
years
train
ago.
station as well, aren't they? Like just walking around and that,
Yeah.
like, as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
and he obviously chose that spot to be the most public.
And to be fair, it started in the university kind of exhibition thing,
So-
spilled out onto the streets.
Yeah.
So it probably wasn't really that quick that they responded anyway.
yeah.
At least like 2-3 minutes before they actually got there. And the fact that the public was intervening shows that they probably wasn't there. That quick
Yeah,
either.
it wouldn't have been.
I mean, obviously ISIS have claimed the incident as theirs.
Is it?
Like that, I'm pretty sure that happened. So they've claimed that it was their thing. And the vest, I think they were saying that
It
ISIS
was a
have
hoax.
it's a hoax vest, but they show how to you can.
Oh, they teach you how to make the hoax vest?
Yeah. So it looks real. So it's got all wires or whatever and stuff. And the guy was like,
That's
had
the
one of
levels
them
they're
on.
going to.
Yeah, and obviously, so the guy's on top of him. Sorry, I'll just go back to that. The guy's on because I thought it was just mad how they did it. The guy was on top of him. The police officer trying to pull this guy off. This guy is not letting go of the terrorist. But eventually, the policeman takes him off and then he shoots him.
Yeah.
Like
I think
twice,
they just wanted him off so they could shoot him at that point, innit?
because they were scared that he had the vest on
Yeah.
and that it could have been real. At that time, they didn't know it was fake.
Yeah, obviously they gotta treat it like it's
Yeah.
it's real.
So they killed the guy. Obviously, it come
Did
out
they
later.
kill him?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, they killed. Yeah, he's dead.
Yeah. I
Good.
think they shot him twice. I think so.
Sick.
Well, I mean,
Good job.
yeah, so they reported later that he was actually convicted as a terrorist, but let go early due to some old
See,
policies.
this is the area where you're
different,
like, it's a
man.
mad
This is like-
failure in the system. And you think to yourself, how can they get
How
that
are
so
you gonna
wrong?
get with things going the way they are in the world, and you let people go early as being a terrorist if they've already been taken?
But it's a hard one because imagine if someone, for example, in your family, God forbid, had been like radicalized to that level, got involved in such things, and then they come
need to be
back
on, like,
to being
as in,
normal
do
and
they
so on
have
and
like do
forth.
they have like bail kind of thing or?
I think he was
Like,
on.
then they
He was
gotta
on.
go to, like,
Yeah, he was on tag, innit? He was on tag.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he was but he
I
served.
think he'd just come off the tag.
He served like
when
7
this
years or
incident
something. I don't know, something quite a long time, but
Yeah.
not obviously not long enough.
Do you know what it is?
And he went through a whole like a terrorist rehabilitation program, I think, and then he was let out early. Like he still had some years
Are
there.
you sure that's real, or are you just chatting?
No, what you're saying is true.
It's the
Yeah,
rehabilitation.
I've read that as well. That's true.
And like, from there, obviously he wasn't rehabilitated.
Do you know what the sad thing is?
And there's other people out there that, you know,
That have
there
gone
are
through the same-
there's terrorists now in the same position that.
May have been rehabilitated or not.
Yeah, we don't really know. You can never know.
Yeah.
Like at the end of the day, you could kill someone, get locked up, serve 30 years, right? You're released. You've done your time. And go out and stab someone else. You could.
Yeah.
Right? You've been rehabilitated for 30 years.
But then when
it
you
doesn't
come out,
necessarily
you're back in a
stop
different environment.
you.
You're not in an isolated environment anymore.
It's a difficult thing because what you got to think with those kind of people, like whatever the crime is, if they've done it once, the fact that they could trigger that element of their brain to think that that decision was correct at that time always shows that there's a possibility that that could easily happen again. Like, and that's what you're questioning, isn't it? And you know, how are you really gonna decide whether
let's be honest.
right
Like, with terror against England or America or whatever, it's coming from pure hate, isn't it? It's coming from the injustice that they've felt they've had against their countries, and they feel like it's justified for them to do it back or to kill how innocent people or whatever. And they're obviously brainwashed. They're doing it in the name of religion when it's not got anything to do with religion really. And it's just one of those things. And like you were saying that you wanted to talk about how this seems to be happening
all the time, whenever there's some kind of election or referendum going on.
Which I mean, you had some stats on your phone. I think it was like 3 or 4 times where a few days before an election,
either a few days or a week.
Or
a week before EU referendum, Joe Cox murdered.
Right.
5 days before the general election in 2017, London Bridge attack.
That was exactly.
And then obviously it's like 13 days before the next election.
Yeah.
It's enough time
London
for it to
Bridge
sort
attack.
of affect people.
So it's like, are these things just happening because it's some kind of setup and they're just doing it to get people to vote for maybe a manifesto that they feel would help?
Like obviously we hope that's definitely not happening, but like you have to think it's a bit conspiracy-ish and it's a bit
So do you think that is the case?
I honestly, like, my thoughts and the reality is it could be either.
I think it is the case.
Yeah. So
it could be either.
It's so sad to say, but I fully believe it is. And also, the reason why I believe it is because London Bridge, again.
But
the way the thing is mad about it, whenever this happens, the way the media jumps onto it is just mad. Like, it will just be the most biggest thing. And now it's like, 5 days later, is anyone really talking about it? So it's like they do it in a way where basically where
everyone will know about it.
Everyone will know about it. It will have the effect that they want it to have, but then it will just go silent.
They just do their work for like 2 days, 3 days, and that's it. Everything else is just going to be spread. To be honest, even like us talking about it.
Yeah.
Everybody talking about it.
Yeah.
It's that still spreading.
The thing is, we're talking about it now, but there's a lot of people that ain't talking about it now. Like in work, I've not spoken to no one about this.
Nobody's mentioned it.
I ain't spoken to one person about it because it was on Friday evening.
Even when
it was on Friday evening when it happened.
Yeah.
So by the time we got to work on Monday, it was old news.
Yeah.
Everyone was thinking about Blue Story, like cinema films, and just like all sorts of other madness.
Apart from you two, I don't even think because when it happened, I was on holiday. And we talked about it when we were on holiday, and the next day talked about it because we found out more stuff. And then since then, I haven't really seen anything. You'll see pages on Instagram that have stuff, but you won't really have anything that's like major news after that first initial few days.
What I don't like the most is the media aren't really talking about it. But to go on to your points where you think this is planned to an extent.
Not to an extent.
I fully
the election,
I fully believe that the whole thing's a hoax.
The election campaigns are using it massively.
Yes.
Yeah.
Massively. So even though the guy's dad said, please do not use my son's death as your part of your election campaigns. Boris Johnson.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Jeremy Corbyn.
Yeah.
Jeremy Corbyn.
That's shameful, man.
They're just using it as a massive tool to try and get votes. It's insane. Corbyn's like, we should be a little bit,
They're basically saying what they
both said the same thing, but Boris said definitely not, and Corbyn said in some circumstances not, and they're both attacking each other, and they're both saying the same thing.
But they're using it. Who died?
It's
the thing is as well. Ridiculous. I read like something about the fact that before that incident, that London had been dropped in like kind of basically like the likelihood of a terror attack to happen from like, I don't know, like red to amber or something. I was like, how can they even?
How can you gauge that?
How can what are you gauging that from?
How do you know?
Well, they know that the election is coming.
Exactly.
So they was like, oh yeah.
They were like, oh, it's getting better, but now, oh wait, it was getting better, and now it's got worse again.
Also, you know these stories, like Blue Story, for example, circling back to that. Yeah. It's like the media have no big news at that time.
So they're just like, yo,
let's all talk about one thing and make it massive because it sells.
Yeah. The thing is,
and who's
like
it selling to? A different audience, a younger audience that are thinking, oh, Blue Story.
Something else to just get everyone to forget about that thing that occurred, which they definitely did.
Yeah.
So I think, I'm gonna lie, man. I definitely think, sadly, I think the whole thing is some kind of like just mad hoax, and it's sad to say that, but I think that's the world we live in today.
Yeah.
To summarize, the cinemas are losing out on money. Our government is screwing us all over.
Yeah.
Telling lies. The papers are doing what they usually do. Again, chatting shit.
Chatting shit, selling money, getting money. Getting money. It's all about money.
And we're all just here living our day-to-day lives.
Getting money.
That's again. Oh, by the way, before we finish, again, when my friend said it, he was like, "Oh, something happened on London Bridge," and I looked at him and I was like, "Shit." Wait. Yeah, and then I was like, "Fuck!" I was like, I even said to him, the sad thing is, I feel like it's normal. And then my other friend who lives in Dubai, who was like, what happened and stuff. And then I was just like, look, it happens. Like,
but
I literally said it happens. Because it's sad, but
do you know what I done when I found out? Basically, I come here because I finished work early that day. I come here, and I literally was like, I don't even know what happened. I think it come up like breaking news or something. And I literally straight away I called my mum because I was thinking she could be around that area, and I called my sister because she takes that way to come back from work. And then my sister was like, I'm already out. No, my sister was like, I wasn't working today. My mum was like, I'm at home. I was like, cool. And I'm not gonna lie. After that, I just thought to myself, well, that's fine.
Do you know what I mean?
That's all I thought to myself. I thought, well,
that's as soon as I found out.
As long as they're cool, that's fine.
I text my sister. I was like, are you all good? London Bridge attack, whatever. And she was like, I'm alright. She was working from home as well that day.
It's sad, yeah, but it's like, that's just the level it's got to. We have been normalised to them kind of...
Normalised?
That was mad.
Let us know in the comments below, please, because I'd also like to continue this. I'd like to continue this conversation on in the comment section. So if you guys have any thoughts or feelings about this subject or either of the subjects that we've discussed, let us know.
In particular, do you believe this is legit or a hoax?
Was it a conspiracy?
Okay. And has it been a conspiracy these past few years?
Also, like and subscribe to our channel, please, and we'll have some more content soon.
Alright, cool.
We're back.
Why are you moving mad? Why are you moving mad?
We're back.
You're moving mad on the cam.
What?
You're moving mad. You did a secret madness. I only did it, bro.
What did
I only picked up by
What did he do?
I should have said that.